Thought I've already done this. What's up, guys? Servon Dev here. I am playing the Stanley Parable, if you could not tell. I mean, you actually probably can't tell. There's no hints that say this is the Stanley Parable just yet. So we can put the time. I've never played this game. I've always wanted to play this game. Hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. You're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. They are. They're correct both times. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game, see this screen, just set your clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not correct. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I booted this up earlier to get it ready and set the time. I didn't know it restarted every time. That's cool. That's pretty cool, huh? Alright, so let's get something situated here. Give me some good sensitivity. Okay, let's start. Oh, that was a skip button, not a press play button. Okay. Whoops. I didn't pay attention to that. Okay. Can I hide under my desk? Can I hide under my desk, please? Okay. See what all the buttons do. Okay, there's only one button, and that is... Well, there's two buttons. I check my messages. There's a button, a red button. Red light means there's messages. Alright guys, I seem to be alone.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, where's the meeting at? Yo guys, you guys having a meeting without me? You having a meeting without me somewhere?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
But what could be so special about the door on the right? We'll just go to the left. We'll just go to the left. We're good. Just trying to find the meeting. Here it is.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling
guys.
a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Let it ball up inside you. Resent the coworker. Indeed. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I want to go downstairs. Look at this. How would I want to miss this? What does this say? I cannot see what that says. It says something on there. Hi, Laney. Hi, something. Alright. And there's a neat little drawing on there. Wish I knew what that said.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Huh.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. I presume that is that like an ending? It's an ending I just found.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. Interesting.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Yeah, I like this room. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice room.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy, and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Interesting, really. Coffee nut.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message. But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room, and took the first open door on his left to get back to business. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Yes, indeed.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
What? Really?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Is that right? Is that right?
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
I'll give you a chance. I'll give you a chance.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Oh.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
What's this exactly?
Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy. No, wait. Where are you going? Right. Where were we? Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
Very beautiful. But Mr. Voice,
No.
I must go.
What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here.
I know. I know.
You heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you? Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
I can't keep on like this. Okay? There's nothing for me here. I must find more purpose. I'll give you another chance, but please, please, please.
You are going to stay here, aren't you?
I'm going to try. But there's nothing here except colors and space. Yes. I'm sorry. He doesn't care. He doesn't care anymore. Huh. It's my time.
No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Huh. Interesting, huh? An interesting turn of events.
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Sure. Stop moving. Okay. Nothing is happening. I will kill myself again.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
There's nothing good that comes from me just standing there. Voice in my head.
No, no, what are you doing? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
I don't believe you.
Stanley, Let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. Yes. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
You cannot manipulate me, boy. Alright. I don't want to stand there in a room tripping balls all day.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Yes. Yes, you are.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Very interesting.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Let's see how it goes. Quit scratching my couch.
Into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Huh. So much for mind control, huh?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yeah. That's exactly what that is. That's what that is. Oh, yeah? I win. I win.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence
I
whatsoever.
don't win.
Stanley can't see
Okay.
the bigger picture. He doesn't
Okay.
know where he will
Wait a
start,
minute.
trapped forever in his narrow vision
That's...
of what this world
Hey,
is.
hey, there's
Perhaps his death was of no great loss.
No, there's
like
a
plucking the
path
eyeballs
down
from
there.
a blind man.
There's a
So he
path.
resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to
Nope.
his brief and shallow life.
No, there's a...
Farewell, Stanley.
No, there's a path. There's a path. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Yes. Okay. Okay. The winner survives.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I don't think so.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Yes. Yes, I see. There's my office. There's my office, and then it leads me there. And here's my computer. Yes. I see. Solitaire. Hey. Okay. Interesting. Interesting, isn't it? And we've got a couple of directions to go here. All kinds of credits. Boss's office. The development of his office. Very interesting, I say. The lounge.
Stanley stood on the snow. Where were all of his co-workers? Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him for all his button pushing? Does that sound plausible to you? Stanley stood on the roof.
Cool. Cool stuff. was that? Yes. See, I have not gotten to these endings. Zending. Huh. Huh. People couldn't figure that one out. Damn, this is a maze. This is a whole maze. Interesting. Okay, this is the spot. They've added some file boxes.